Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Let me find myself. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Listen. Uh-oh, look at the hair, y'all. The hair is big, big. Okay. She says she is here. She's here. She's here to stay. And she said, you know what? You're going to have to deal with it. Uh-oh. She said, you're going to have to deal with it because I am here to stay. Okay. Yes, listen, y'all. I am live. I can hear myself. I have found myself out here on these YouTube streets. Let's get rid of this pillow. I don't think I'm gonna need this pillow. I don't think I'm gonna need this pillow, but I do need this though. I do need this. I do need this, honey, because it matches my outfit. Y'all see that? Y'all see that pretty blue? Y'all see that pretty blue? My birthstone is aquamarine, honey. I'm a March Pisces aquamarines. Listen, come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in here. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday. If this is your first time here, hello and welcome to Hood Parenting. I am Yashika, affectionately known as Fairy Godmother, honey. And hopefully, if this is by this being your first, if you this is listen, I didn't got tongue twisted. If you here for the first time, hopefully by the end of this live, you will decide, you know what? I like it over there in the neighborhood. You get it? Neighborhood, hood parenting. And so you'll go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so when I go live or post a video, which is the same as having a neighborhood party, honey, you will know, okay? Because you want to come to the neighborhood party because the neighborhood party is always a turn up. Look, listen. Welcome to August, y'all. Welcome to August. And as you come on in here, let me know you are in here. Welcome to August 2026, August the 2nd to be exact. The day's Sunday, August the 2nd. And so, y'all know, if you don't know, August is National Wellness Month. National Wellness Month. And so I figure, why not kick off August National Wellness Month? And Hood Parenting Live is streaming about things that's pertaining to our wellness. Like, doesn't it make sense? Why? Because, honey, I hear the people in the streets talking, okay? I hear the people in the streets talking, telling me how they feel that they never have time for this, never have time for that, because they do this and they do that. And let me tell y'all something. We not built like Big Mama and them no more, y'all. Mm-mm. We're not built like that no more. Why? Because, see, a lot of times, even with Big Mama and them, they had health issues. Some of them couldn't get around like they supposed to. You know what I'm saying? I look back now, I didn't realize that some of my aunties was 40 and 50 years old, the age I am now, when I was in my teens. I'm talking about my great aunties. I didn't know. I thought they was older than that, right? Because that's what we thought. That's the way it was. Because a lot of them had health issues. A lot of them had problems. A lot of them was on medication. Because y'all know how it was. A lot of us didn't have the health care that we needed, the medical insurance. We wasn't eating right. We was eating everything fried, dyed, laid to the side, the whole 9 yards. All right. And so somewhere up in there, somebody said, you know what? We need to start reminding people to take care of themselves. Okay, because apparently people don't remember to take care of themselves. So, what our great nation decided to do is that they said, you know what, we're going to make months, we're going to make days, we're going to make whatever. All right, so people can recognize that these things need to be taken care of. Why? Because it is a mind, body, and soul. Mind, body, and soul. Anita Baker, right? I'm just thinking about it. As soon as I said mind, body, and soul, Anita Baker just automatically came into it. Because if you hear me say it, all of it needs to work together in order for you to be able to live the life that you want to live. Because what is all this for if when you working hard and then when you get to retirement age, you can't enjoy it? Okay. Or better yet, what is it all for if, you get to a certain age and you wonder, you know what, how did I get here? Because I didn't notice none of it because I wasn't taking care of myself. I just was going through the motions. So I don't remember none of it. All right. So let's remind ourselves. August is Wellness Month, National Wellness Month. So today we are kicking it off with wellness begins the day you stop asking for permission. That's what that is, right? So when we think about wellness, the first thing we think about is going to the gym. We think about drinking water. We think about eating healthy and things like that. I'm gonna lose a couple of pounds, right? Things like that, right? But when it comes to the things that matter, wellness is bigger than that. Okay. Wellness is bigger than that. Wellness is being able to take care of yourself so you can live the life that you earn, the life that you work for, right? The life that you said, you know what? I deserve this. I deserve this. So number one, wellness start with taking care of yourself. Okay. Taking care of yourself. And taking care of yourself means giving yourself permission. Because when I listen to people sometimes, I mean, listen, when I tell you I don't just do these things, like let me be clear here. Let me put a little caveat in this conversation right here, right? When I'm out here in these streets and you see me going to stores, I'm going to malls, I'm going to concerts, I feel that not only am I going for enjoyment or whatever for me to get out the house, but I'm also put in those places for certain reasons. I'm gonna give you an example. The other day, I left the gym and I went to Walmart. And while I was in line, I went in there and got a couple of items and ran right out because across the street from where I live at, from where I work at the gym, there's a Walmart. So as soon as I got done, I went right over to that Walmart. Now, I always believe that there's no such things as coincidence. I believe that everything happened the way that they are supposed to. And I'm very, very clear about my mission here in this world. Very, very clear. Okay. So now here's the scenario. I'm in line at the Walmart, an express line. And I see, because I'm leaning on my basket, looking at my cell phone. I got my few items leaning on my basket. To my From my right is walking two um, black women that were probably closer to my mom's age. So they were in their mid to late 60s, early 70s, right? And so, right when one of them was coming closer, the one to the left who was not pushing the basket said to the one that was pushing the basket, because they were walking side by side, but they're coming up from my right. She says, well, do I need to make a call? Because I can hear them, because they were talking, rather where we all hear. She said, because do I need to make a call? You need to learn how to treat yourself. So as they were walking, the lady who was pushing the basket said, no, you ain't got to make no call. I just retired and she think I'm supposed to buy clothes. And I'm telling her I'm retired. I don't need them. And just like that, she said it because she brought me into the conversation, because she was talking to me when she said it. And I jumped back and I said, ma'am, I'm with her. Okay. I'm with her. I said, ma'am, I'm retired as well. So then she started saying, no, 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 you're not retired. I said, ma'am, I've been retired from the US Army for 10 years. So then that's when the other friend chimed in and said, see, she was in the army and she just retired from the government and blah, blah, blah. And so what the friend was encouraging the one friend to do was to buy herself something at the store that she seen, whether it was an outfit, I don't know what it was. But whatever it was, the woman, I guess, wasn't someone that always treated herself to something. It was like, well, I better save this, I better save that. And so what the friend was trying to say is, honey, listen, you deserve these things. And so that's what I said. I said, honey, I'm the wrong person. I'm sorry, I can't help you because I'm retired. And I believe that you do things for yourself, not for everyone else. I said, I personally, because this was like maybe a 2-minute dialogue between the three of us. And I said, and as they were walking slowly by me, I said, I personally get up every morning and get dressed. I don't care if I'm coming here, going to the gym. If I'm going to the gym even, and I know that's all I'm going, I'm literally putting myself, making sure my outfit is cute, making sure everything is done. Because why? Because although I'm retired, I still like it ain't about everybody else. It's how it makes me feel, right? How it makes me feel. And so I believe that this is how I kind of got to this week, because that was one of a few things that happened. It's just how a lot of us, even in retirement age, or when we get close to retirement, we're still waiting on permission, right? We're still waiting on permission to do the things that we want to do, right? Because we feel that, well, I better not do this because see, if I do this, that means that I got to sacrifice, or somebody else got to sacrifice, or something like that, right? Listen, you got to give yourself permission. Because if you're waiting on somebody else to give you permission to live, to do the things that you need to do, you're not going to get it, right? Because I can find a reason every day to make an excuse for me not doing this or me not doing that, right? Because here's the thing, I'm retired, and I can tell anybody that's listening, when it comes, first of all, when it comes to finance, because people are like, well, the money, money, money. Listen, unless you come from the family like the Knowles Carter, or the Kardashian West, or the Rockefellers, or the Winfreys, or anybody like that, it's not too many Americans that's going to be able to retire and still live the life, like travel on a constant basis, pay all their bills. Listen, if you are one of them people upon retirement, you are able to take a vacation every quarterly. Your bills is paid off. You got money to just do whatever you want to do with it. Then, honey, bless you. God bless you. Okay, you have done right. You have done the American dream. You have achieved the American goal. But for the most part, most of us, even in retirement, there's still some limitations in which we have. And so I say this to say that why are you going to wait then to live? Because listen, you deserve these things now, right? Right? We have this mentality that if we give ourselves permission, okay, because see, what we're really doing is that we're surviving. So when we give ourselves permission, it's like we're saying, well, I just got to make it through the day. No, that is surviving, right? That's what surviving is. You're saying that I need to make it through today, okay? Living is saying that I want to enjoy the lives that I am building, all right? That's the difference between surviving and living. So which one are you doing? Tell me down below in the comments. Excuse me. Because I see it every day. I see it every day, especially in Black women. We sacrifice a lot. And I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying that men don't do it. I'm not saying that there aren't fathers out here that do it. All I know is that because statistically speaking, there are more women in the world than men, regardless of color. We're going to always see more women doing something because the fact alone is that there's more women. So in saying that, I see more women telling themselves, I don't want to do this, or I'm not going to do that because of my kids, or I can't buy myself this because I have to make sure this is good, or I have to make sure that is good. Okay. Y'all know when I start going live, I start coughing. Okay. And it's like in my throat, right? Well, anyway, I ask you this when it comes to the things that we do in survival or living, what are we teaching our kids? What are we teaching our kids? Because see, our kids are watching us. Our kids watch us if we're taking care of ourselves, or our kids are watching us if we neglect ourselves, right? So how can we tell our kids to go get some rest to take care of ourselves if we're not doing it? Okay, right? So we're sitting up here being all exhausted and things like that. What we're telling them is like, do as I say, not as I do. You cannot teach from something that you refuse to model. So if you want your kids to be the kind of adults that make sure that they take care of themselves, because again, mind, body, and soul, then you have to model that behavior. It's not because what I recognize with kids is, and I saw this in my own life with my my boys. A lot of the things that I went through as parents, we tend to not discuss these things with our kids because we find certain things to be grown folks' business, right? If we're talking about relationships, if we're talking about finances, if we're talking about the things that keep us parents up at night, when our kids are young, we don't talk about these things with them. Hell, even when they start to get up to some age, we still don't talk about it with them because we want them to have the illusion, because that's what it is. We want them to have the illusion that we're gonna be okay, and that life is a bed of roses, and that because that's what we're doing. We're providing them with an illusion like, well, I'm not struggling, I'm not knowing how the bill's gonna be paid. I'm not none of that. Hi, how are you? Hi, son. You want to go to McDonald's? Listen, I know I don't have no money. You don't know that, but let's go to McDonald's because they have a $3.99 special, right? Because you asked for McDonald's and you was good today in school, so let's go. They don't know that because why? We feel like we have to provide a way. But all I'm saying is that when we do, that we have to provide this type of illusion to them. I'm sorry, we have to provide a way, which we do, but we also provide them with the illusion, right? And so I feel that when we are out here, like giving ourselves permission to do certain things, to take care of ourselves, we are also modeling the behavior to our kids that we want them to live. Okay. Right. Because the way I see it, I'm my own lesson. Okay. For years, I believed that taking care of myself meant that I had to be a good mother. I had to do this and I had to do that. And then I started realizing, and I was like, you know what? If I'm not doing well, then how am I taking care of my kids? Because what I recognize, especially when I was going through my second divorce, because again, I want them to feel like they're not missing anything, right? So I'm doing all this pretending because why? I don't know what wellness means to me. In my mind, wellness means I'm eating right, I'm going to the gym, I'm raising my kids, but in the inside, I'm torn up trying to figure things out. Okay. And it was not until I was going through these things and my body started to react to the things that I was trying to hide and suppress that I started having to be honest about, hey, life. My ex-husband and I didn't even tell my son we were divorced until we had been divorced for a year and a half because we understood what it came with. We understood with that we had to sit down just like we had sat down with previous marriage kids and talk to them. But it was one of those things like it was just a lot. And so unfortunately, I didn't tell him and his father didn't tell him. And so because of it, there was a lot of things that my son went through that we ended up having to backpedal and clean up because, things happen and say, hey, we tried to avoid this and this is what we thought was best. And we didn't know. But what I recognize is that I wasn't taking care of my wellness. And so when I started to admit to these things and talk to my kids and let them understand, I started to feel better. Because at that time I was having bad acne, my skin was breaking out, like my weight, I couldn't control my weight because I wasn't taking care of myself. Because in my mind, I'm working out every day. Why can't I lose weight? I'm not sitting around eating bull crap every day. Why and I'm losing weight? But then I noticed that there were things that I was doing that was counterintuitive to the things that I was doing. Right. So if I'm eating like nibbling on little stuff all day long and I'm out here running, girl, of course you're not gonna lose no weight. You might not sit down and eat a whole full course meal, but if you nibbling on things that you don't think it means something, but because of what I was going through, it was like I had to stay busy. And so my cortisol level was all off, and because my hormones was off, and so the sugar and all that kind of stuff, and I didn't know. And once I started to really, really pour into the things that I needed to pour into when it came to my wellness, I started to see how my sons started to respond and how they started to be because I wasn't hiding it, right? I wasn't hiding it from them. I was just hiding it from myself more or less, right? About the things that I was going through. Okay. And so that's something that we have to think about when it comes to wellness, taking care of ourselves. Okay. And so the question I have to ask everybody is when it comes to permission, what are we waiting for when it comes to give ourselves permission? Why do we wait to enjoy the things that are meant to be enjoyed earlier? I was listening to a young girl, and I may have said this before on one of my lives, but I was listening to a young girl one day, and she was talking to me about retirement. And she said to me, she says, I can't imagine being retired before the age of 50. She said, because what would I do with myself? And I told her, I said, well, honey, first of all, I'm never without things to do. However, I enjoy the fact that I don't have to do certain things if I don't want to. And then I turned around and said to her, I said, but then what is it all for? In other words, if you get to a point in your life that you can retire, or you have this block in your mind that I'm not going to ever retire because I'm going to always work, because if I retire, what am I going to do? You're already setting yourself up to be working forever. Because remember, words are important, right? What we speak out in the atmosphere is important. And so I asked her, I said, so what is it all for? I said, do me a favor. The next time you see your grandparents or any of the elders that's in your family, ask them about retirement. Ask them about if they're retired, if they could retire, or whatever the case may be. And I said, and the ones that have retired and retired, listen, that has retired effectively, listen, you're not going to find those people. So when you sit back and you say, well, why would I retire? You are already setting yourself up to work forever. And then that is also what you're teaching your kids, that this is life forever. You're teaching your kids that this is life forever. I am just always in survival mode. I'm not living. I'm always in survival mode. Why? Because then I will have to figure out something else. These are the things, this type of anxiety and things like that are the things that we're passing on to our kids. Okay. And so we definitely have to be cognizant of that. Okay. For us to be able to take care of our kids, and I know we have heard this before, whether it's our kids, our grandkids, and if your life is set up with mine, I tell people, and I find myself saying this often. At this age, as I'm pushing my kids further, and the reason why I say I'm pushing them is because I want them to go further than I can ever imagine I would have went in life. Like I want them to doggone go to orbit. I want them to, when it comes to, it ain't no reaching for the moon. It's like reaching for, listen, go way out there. This world is yours. And this is what I want for my kids. But I find myself, as I'm pushing my kids forward, I have to pull my mother along. because she didn't set herself up to take care of things when it comes to her wellness, when it comes to her finances, when it comes to health, when it comes to things like that. And so as we switch places with our elders, I want to make sure that I'm able to take care of myself in a way and put my wellness, because I don't want my kids to feel like they have to pull me along while they're pushing my grandchildren forward, right? And so that's why I'm saying to you, all these things are important. So on this channel of Hood Parenting, I live my life in a way that give myself permission to do all the things that I desire to do in this world. And it could be something as simple as going to a concert, or something as simple as me buying a product that I want to use for my face, right? Or me doing absolutely nothing but being at home. But you want your life to be set up that way, because when you have to ask yourself, if you're doing all this only to be suffering at the end, or your kids suffer, or your kid, then what is it all for? Because we want to make every generation better than the way that we came in, right? I want the generations after me to say, you know what? Thank you, Yaya. Thank you, grandmama or great grandmama Yashika. Thank you for doing this for us, so that when we came, it wasn't as hard for us, because you figured out how to bring us forward as we continue to go forward. Because that's what God said, push our people forward. And so it starts with you. So what are we doing in this? And it starts with our wellness. And so August is wellness month. All right. And so what I want you to do is find something in your life that you have been neglecting when it comes to you. When it comes to you, your mental, your physical, your soul, like you ain't been you want to go to another this, or you want to experience this, or you want to go this, or you want to try this, or you want to try a new beauty product, or you want to implement meditating, whatever wellness looks like to you, whatever those things you've been neglecting. I want you for the next 29 days or 30 days, counting today, right? Because we have 31 days in the month of August to take those things that you've been neglecting for yourself, your wellness, and I want you to figure out a way to make it better for you. So if you've been talking about you want to lose a couple of pounds, or you want to, go to the doctor because you've been wanting to go do this, or you need to go check on your health because you need lab work and you've been afraid to do these things, whatever you need to do, go do it, right? Go do it, because we want to pass on healthy habits and routines to our younger generations. When my grandchildren, if you've heard me say this before, and if you've never been here before and this is your first time, I've started these YouTube channels a few years ago because when I'm gone many years from now, I want my great great grandkids to be able to find me. And I want them to know that I did the best that I could to make sure that I'm giving them all the information that I know that's going to because here's the thing, we ain't going to never have all the answers. But when you have as much information as you can make a better decision. That's what I do know. And so I want them to say, you know what? She made sure. And so, because I know a lot of things that I've learned them through trial and error. And a lot of things I didn't need to go through. Hell, I didn't want to go through, but I went through them because there was nobody there to say, don't do it. There was nobody there to tell me to do it. Right. That's everybody. But then every now and then I would meet someone along the way that would tell me how to do something or advise me something. And because of that person, my life was forever changed. And so this is what this channel is about. Hopefully, when you come across these videos, there's something that you'll pick up in here that will make you say, you know what? I needed to hear that today. And because of that, your life is forever changed. And so listen, I am ready to continue on with this wellness season. And one more thing, I am almost at monetization on YouTube. And when I do, I am going to celebrate, okay? Because I believe in celebrating all milestones. It has been over a year. And as of the time of this live, I have 997 subscribers. I need 1,000. However, I am still about 2,200 watch hours short. So if you happen to come across this video, make sure you just go and watch all my videos, okay? Every last one of them on this channel so that I can get those watch hours, all right? Anyway, I hope that you found something from this video. And by the time you get done, you say, you know what? I'm going to buy me a house on the block and join the neighborhood. All right. I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.